broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studios in Houston, Texas. It's time for Houston Business Radio. Now, here's your host.
Hello, Houston. Trisha Stutzel here, bringing you another episode of Houston Business Radio. Today's guest, Todd Howard. Oh, and by the way, he's a friend of mine. We'll talk about that. Founder of Grow a Niche Business. Todd has spent his career as a product and go-to-market strategist, launching a wide range of businesses, each built on finding something unique. Now, through Grow a Niche Business, he helps entrepreneurs and leaders cut through the noise, define their niche, and build companies that stand out and succeed. Todd's work is all about showing why niching isn't just smart strategy, it's the future of business. Todd, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Trisha. This is going to be fun.
I'm so excited to have you on today. So tell us a little bit more about Todd.
Yeah, the intro that you read was great. I had spent most of my career trying to figure out what makes a business unique. I've owned a construction company. I started co-working before co-working existed. I don't mean to claim that I'm the only one that did it, obviously. I retooled a format for men's groups to try and get that up and running. I've always done these kind of quirky businesses on the margins, and the work that I've done has either been successful or not based on one thing. Could I figure out what made my service unique, and could I find the specific market that worked for? And to the extent that I could figure that out, sort of solve that puzzle, the business went really well. To the extent that I couldn't, the business didn't do well. And so that has steered me in the direction of helping clients figure that thing out. What is unique about you? How do we harness that? And then let that direct us to the market you need to be working with. Because in my opinion, that's most of the battle. So anyway, that's what brings me to what I'm doing right now with Grow a Niche.
I love it. Okay, I want to ask you a silly question.
Okay.
Some people say niche, some people say niche. What is it?
That is not a silly question. I get asked that so often. The short answer is both are appropriate. In English, niche is preferred. So the original word is French. So it is niche. However, the word originated in the 1700s.
Okay.
Well, English speakers who use the word did not say niche because there wasn't the globalization of language yet. People in the US didn't know the way people pronounced it in France. So the earliest English dictionary says you pronounce it niche. And it wasn't until decades later that they said you can also pronounce it niche. So if you want to be a purist, say niche. But if you want to say, well, nope, what has the English language revolved around is niche. So there's not a wrong answer, is the sum of all that. Call it
I'm
whatever
so
you
glad
want.
because you said niche, I said niche. I'm from Texas, so I used to say niche all the time, and it sounds really Texan.
Yeah. So sometimes I say niche if I just am feeling fancy and I kind of want to, it just naturally happens. Both are fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, I feel better about that. Thank goodness I haven't been saying it wrong. I can choose whichever one. Pecan, pecans, tomato, tomato. We'll move on.
Both work.
All right. One of the reasons why I asked you to come on the show is because I agree with you. It's not just your opinion that we struggle with finding who it is that we serve. And you take it even a step further, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Why do you think so many businesses struggle to figure out who it is that they serve or figure out their niche?
It is really hard. I think that it's stumped most everyone, and collectively we've led ourselves in the wrong direction. People are to answer your question really specifically, the reason it's hard is because people are looking in the wrong place. And so they're never going to find it. People believe that a niche is a market. And the reason they believe that is because when they wander up to a group of people that are talking about their niche, they're describing a market. Someone will say, I work with manufacturing companies that make $5 million or more. I work with teachers. And when you hear people name a market as their answer for what is their niche, you begin to believe, well, they've chosen a market. And so I need to choose a market. And so people go about looking for a market that in their mind already exists and is the right fit for them. They will never achieve niche status with their business by doing that. Mm-hmm. And the reason comes back to what a niche really is. So I'm going to pivot for just a minute and answer the next question I know you would ask. What is a niche? If we're going about the wrong way, it means that we think it's something it's not. So what is it? Niche is a word that translated means to nest. It is the act of finding a safe place for your business. Literally think of the way a bird builds a nest, and that will give you the starting point of how you need to think about a niche. Now, in business terms, building a nest, what we would say is you find a defensible position in a market, right? We're going for safety. That's the whole point. So the way that you find a safe place for your business is you find a defensible position in a market. So you can't find a defensible position in a market simply by choosing that market because someone else can choose that same market. For example, I know you work with veterans. And so if you were to say, my niche is veterans, I work with veterans. I'm a coach, I do this, that, and the other, work with veterans. That doesn't prevent me from coming along and saying, well, I work with veterans. I do this, that, and the other. I have a product for veterans. And now veterans are confused. Well, okay, I got two people now saying they're right for me. The point is, choosing a market does not give you a defensible position in that market. That's what makes this whole thing so difficult, is that people are trying to achieve a defensible position in a market by choosing a market. And when other people choose the same market, they go, I'm left with nothing.
All right. So I'd like to take this just a little bit deeper. So I serve veterans, you serve veterans. What is it then that I would ask myself, or how do I take this just a little bit deeper so that I actually find or get closer to my niche versus just the market?
Right. That's the right next question. So if you're trying to achieve a defensible position, then the first thing I do with my clients is I say, okay, let's switch out the word niche for defensible position. We're going to find our niche, but for right now, the target that you're looking for is a defensible position in a market. You want to give a market a reason to choose you over everyone else so that you can say, everybody else that serves veterans, I have a defensible position in this market. Yeah. So what is that thing that gives you that? And the answer to that question is a unique approach. That's how you find your niche. Once you develop a unique approach, you let your unique approach lead you to a market, and it will give you a defensible position once you get there. So let's take the example of veterans. Let's say that I were to analyze your business and my business, and I figured out, and we put veterans aside, say, let's come to market at the end. And I said, Trisha, what are the things that you do? What are the unique abilities that you bring? The unique approach or the unique route that you take in working with someone? The unique experience that they have? How is it different from the competition? Once I understand that, then I say, everybody else is going this way, but Trisha kind of goes this way. And I understand your approach and how it's different from everyone else. Once I understand that, or in my case with my clients, once I help you develop that, then I go, okay, now that we know your unique approach, who gets the biggest benefit from your unique approach? It might be veterans, but it might be somebody else. It might be a larger market that includes veterans and others as well. So when you go looking for the market, when you try and leapfrog over figuring out your own unique approach and just land on a market and grab it like it's a land grab, you miss, because anybody else would claim that market. But when you back up and go, okay, I'm willing to work with whomever gets the biggest benefit. Let me figure out my unique approach and get a real crystal clear idea of that. Once you have that, you go, I'm perfect for them. My approach fits their situation perfectly. So what I need to do is I need to go talk to that market, explain my approach, and they're going to go, oh my God, everybody else, I've been changing the way I do business to fit the frameworks that people are bringing me. You, Trisha, you have an approach that perfectly fits where I am. And they're going to choose you. That's when you accomplish a niche, when you find your unique approach.
Okay. So a few things that are bubbling up for me. One, we have land crabs here and you're not allowed to get rid of them. So I'm just saying, and they keep digging holes in my yard. Kidding about that. Not really. As people are going through this process with you, Todd, I know that there are some listeners right now saying, well, I don't even know what my own unique approach is. Is that something that you help your clients with?
That is exclusively what I do. I help people develop their unique approach. I built a framework that I walk through with them, and we develop their unique approach. Once we have their unique approach, at the end of the process, we choose their market. And it's exciting to watch the light bulb go on when they realize they're perfect for a subset of the market, absolutely perfect, but they never knew it because they were so busy looking for the most profitable market. They weren't looking at the unique approach they brought to the table.
Mm-hmm. So I'm also thinking about people who want to serve everyone because they're so afraid that they're going to lose business if they niche down, right? If they really focus in this one area. So how do you help your clients get past that fear of what about everyone else? I serve everyone, anyone, someone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a couple of logical questions I ask on the front end, and then I show them how they're ideally suited for a different market on the back end. The questions on the front end, I ask them, how many clients do you think you need to be successful? And if you are an advisor or a consultant, most advisors and consultants that I've spoken with aim for 1 to 3 times their highest annual salary in corporate. Mm-hmm. Depending on their price point, they can accomplish that with 5 to 20 clients per year. So you do the math, you may say, well, I need a little more than that. That's okay. The point is you need a small number of clients. The way that you're profitable is you need to stop wasting time talking to the wrong clients, looking through the pile to find the ones that will say yes. So if your goal is profitability and you want to lower the cost associated with sales and marketing, it benefits you to figure out your unique approach and talk to the subset of the market that's already looking for you. Once people do that math in their head, they realize, I don't want to chase everybody. That's exhausting. That's a highly competitive, expensive approach to trying to find the people that are right for me. Then as we work together and I take them through my process, they begin to discover I have a lot of really great stuff to bring to the table. I am a specialist in areas that I did not realize. And as they build their approach and they see it, they can hold it in their hand and just look at it for a minute. They realize, man, this is really good for them or them. And they lean into that subset of the market that's perfect for them. Once they see their unique approach and once they understand how this works, I never have to convince somebody to ignore everyone else and go talk to them.
Mm-hmm. All right, you guys know why I like Todd, right? This is why we're friends, because yeah, we're on the same page here. So I know that there are listeners who already want to reach out and connect with you, Todd. What is the best way for folks to do that?
The best way is to go to growaniche.com. And there's only one button on my website, schedule a call. Schedule a call with me. It's a free call. One of the things that I am willing to do for everyone is if you feel like you have a niche, and most people do, this isn't a new concept. People have tried to think about their ICP and lean that direction. Mm-hmm. I'm perfectly fine having a conversation. You can describe your niche to me, and I'll tell you honestly whether or not I think you're there. And if you're not, I'll help you see what you can do to make some adjustments. Mm-hmm. Some people have a pretty unique way of doing things, but they've never thought about the competition the way they should. Mm-hmm. Some people have spent a lot of time thinking about the competition, but they've not created a unique approach for a subset of the market. So people are missing the mark, one way or the other. And in a 30-minute call, I'm happy to help just shine a light on it and say, here's where you are, close or far from your niche, and here's what I would recommend as the next step. If they want to work with me after that, great. But at the very least, they can get off the call and go, got it. That I see the missing piece that was preventing me from landing on the answer that I wanted.
Did you guys hear that? Todd's willing to have a 30-minute conversation with you about where you're at in this process. It's amazing. So growanichebusiness.com is where
it's growanichebusiness.com. I am currently changing that because it's too long even for me. So by the time this airs, it's growaniche.com. I got that domain. I'm tired of saying the long sentence.
Perfect. I thought that's what you said. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Growaniche.com. Schedule a call. We'll talk about it, and I'll help you see where you may be missing it.
All right. So we've tackled all of the logical listeners. We've told them what it is that they need to go do. Now, I've got some other shiny object listeners, and they need stories. So can you give a couple of examples of businesses that have really nailed their niche so the listeners can get a picture of what it looks like in practice?
Yes, I'm going to give you, I can give you a dozen. I'll try and limit it to 3. I promise your listeners have heard of these people too. The first one is Simon Sinek. Everyone's heard of Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek is a fantastic case study on what it is to have a unique approach. Simon Sinek is a leadership and development coach. If you go to his website, you will see somewhere on that page the words leadership and development, because that's what he does. That's the industry that he has grabbed a hold of. However, Simon doesn't spend any time telling you about the industry he serves. He spends 100% of the time telling you about the unique approach he takes to serve the industry. Simon Sinek says that, in his opinion, the way that you move people is through inspiration. It's not carrot, it's not stick, it's inspiration. If you want people to follow your company, buy your products, follow you within your organization, inspire them. He's been very open about that. As a result, companies that believe that there's something inspirational about what they do want to work with Simon. They walk right past every leadership and development coach on the planet. They're willing to pay 10 times the price to work with Simon because Simon has developed a unique approach that figures out what's inspirational about you, brings it into the forefront of your strategy, and uses it as the guiding light for your company. I'll give you another example. Not quite as popular, but pretty popular. Jocko Willink. Jocko is a Navy SEAL commander turned business coach. He's written children's books. He's got a long list of businesses. But originally, after the military, he was also a leadership and development coach, which is interesting because on the surface, you wouldn't think Simon Sinek and Jocko are in the same category, but they exactly are. Leadership and development coach. Same story. Jocko doesn't spend any time talking about the industry he serves. he spends 100% of the time talking about the unique approach he takes to serve that industry. Jocko believes that to be a good leader, you have to have battlefield awareness. And he's very articulate with this idea. He can explain what happens in a commander's mind in the field, what's lacking in the business world. And there are certain people that will line up and pay 10 times the going rate to work with Jocko because they believe in his approach. They believe his approach uniquely fits them. And so as a result, Jocko has a niche market, people that fit his approach. Simon has a niche market, people that fit his approach. And so if I were to take us back in time 30 years ago and say, do you think it's possible, as many leadership and development coaches that have come out of the 70s and 80s, do you think it's possible that two people could think up a niche in leadership and development right now in the 2000s? You'd say, forget it. There's thousands of leadership and development coaches. How is that possible? All the markets are taken. Simon creates a unique approach. Jocko creates a unique approach. To this day, they are known by their unique approach more than they're known by their product.
Mm-hmm.
And I can go on and on. Chris Angel, fantastic in the world of magic. Dave Ramsey, his ability to take financial advisory and go right into the conversations needed between partners to talk about their personal finances, be honest with each other, the baby steps, all of that, that's an approach. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And you realize this is what you need to do to build a niche. You have to develop your own unique approach. And when you do, your market is obvious and the sales will come.
So we only have so much time, and I could just sit here and listen to your stories all day. I'm like, yes, of course. This all makes sense. But instead of telling more stories, I'd like to circle back around, Todd, to the service that you provide. So very clear that you help people identify this niche. And then you help them with something else. So I would love to talk about the full service that you offer, even beyond helping people identify their niche. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, thank you. The first step is to find your niche. You need to understand your unique approach, the market that you serve. That's a huge aha moment. And in the big scheme of things, that's step one in working with me. The next step, and it's a critical step, is that we need to build a product that delivers your unique approach to that market. It's not enough to let's take somebody who's a business coach. You can't be a generic business coach with generic templates and generic arguments and logics and logic and all of that, and walk up to veterans and say, hey, veterans, I'm perfect for you. I'm the business coach you should hire. They're going to say, why? Your product looks like everybody else. Your marketing is niched, but your product hasn't been adjusted for me. So what we have to do, the second part of my service, is that we're going to take your unique approach and we're going to build a product. And what I mean when I say product, I literally mean a service. Step one, we do this. Step two, we do this. Step three, we do this. Here's the outcome of step three. Here's how long step three takes. All of those details can be built out prior to working with a client, so that when you meet a client, instead of saying, hire me, I'm going to make you money, you're going to like me. Instead, you say to the client, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I have designed a service specifically for people in this situation. And here's the service I built. First, we do this for this reason. Second, we do this for this reason, and so on. When you get done with explaining your product, the customer has the evidence they need to say, you're the right fit for me, you're hired. And I've seen it happen over and over again. When I work with my clients, I say, okay, finding your niche, that was for you. Building the product, that's for them. So those are the two steps we take. We're going to find your niche, then we're going to build a product specifically for them. And when you get up and talk about what you do, which by the way is exactly what Simon does, when he says find your why, that's actually the first step in his service. When you talk about what you do and how you do it, and you describe the steps, people go, I want to take that journey. You're hired. So to sum it up, those are the two things I do. I will help you find your niche by helping you develop a unique approach. And then together, we will build your product so you know exactly what you bring to the table and can explain it to people who are looking for a service like yours.
I love that. And to be clear, for those of you out there who have been in your business for quite a long time and have a lot of products and services, Todd is really good at helping you hone in on what parts of those products and services that you already have that you can put together for putting your unique approach out there, right? For specifically for your niche. So you don't have to go build something brand new. Don't let that scare you. If you have a lot of content, Todd can help you put that together in such a way that it speaks to your niche. Yeah,
that's exactly right. As many of my clients as not work with me to hone what they have. It's not a dump everything and rewrite. It's a, you've got something, can we hone it down, make the adjustments we need to find the ICP you're looking for? We go through the same process, but yes, we can tweak what you have if what you have is already built around your unique approach.
Love that. Okay, so we're at the end of our time, Todd. I've got one last thing that I would love for you to leave the audience with, and it's really just bringing everything back full circle. So you've built and studied niche businesses, you've learned your lessons, now you teach those lessons or you help others get there faster than you did on your own. If you can leave our listeners with one piece of advice about why niching matters in their business, not just for today, but for the future of their business, what would it be?
The days of the coach as a collaborator are over. And it's because of AI. I have heard lots of stories about AI. I did a deep dive to understand all of this. There are a lot of coaches and advisors that are fundamentally setting themselves up as an advisor. They have templates and frameworks and formats and advice and industry knowledge, and they want to come alongside a business and say, let me be a partner with you to help you think through things. If you want a really big reality check that I did for myself as well, go to Claude AI or any other AI tool. I'm not affiliated with that. It's just one that I found. And have a collaborative conversation with AI and see how good AI is at bringing frameworks and formulas and advice to the table. So if you have been banking on a successful coaching or advisory business based on the idea that I'm going to collaborate and be a best practices vehicle or vessel to my clients, please hear that AI will replace that. The way that you get out of that trap is you develop a unique approach that takes someone from point A to point B. And when you go to a client and say, I'm not here to collaborate with you, although we'll collaborate. I'm not just going to be a voice in your ear. I'm going to take you to this destination. We are going to get here together, and here are the steps we're going to take to get there. When you do that, AI becomes a tool, not a threat. So I highly recommend, if you are in the services industry, fundamentally advising clients, get out of the collaboration space, develop a unique approach where you can take someone to a destination. That's how you survive the future as it relates to AI.
Love this. Todd, it's been such a pleasure to have you on today. Thank you for coming on and sharing such wisdom with me and the folks who are listening today.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for this chance. It was fun. Absolutely.
You guys, Todd Howard, Grow a Niche Business, and where you can find him is Grow a Niche. It's GROWANICHE.com as of when you're listening to this. And you can also find him on LinkedIn, which is probably where I found him in the first place. Oh no, we were referred to each other through someone we know, which is even better, right?
Yes.
So you guys reach out to Todd with your questions. And again, he has offered to do a 30-minute session with you guys free of charge. So take advantage of that. Todd, again, thank you so much for being with me.
You're welcome. Thank you, Tricia. This was fun.
This is all the time we have for today. If you found value in the conversation that I had with Todd today, please share it with a fellow entrepreneur, veteran, or Houston business leader ready to grow. Be sure to follow, rate, and review the show. It helps us reach more bold business minds just like yours. And your business, your leadership, and your legacy are built one intentional step at a time. So stay inspired, stay focused, and keep building the business and the life you deserve.